Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my superpower. My name is Elisa. Today's video is going to be a quick sewing tip, or better yet, a fabric tip. I like to sew with, I think the category is home textiles. I like to sew with bed linen or duvet covers, also with tablecloths. And I do that because I think it's a wonderful source of fabric, usually much cheaper than buying new fabric. And I do that because, firstly, you are supposed to make muslins of new garments, new patterns you are trying out. I don't always do that, but when I want to make a muslin, I use usually fabric that I get from the charity shop, from the thrift shop, and that is usually in the form of duvet covers or bed sheets, bed linen, sometimes large tablecloths. Not very heavy. It has to be the right type, the right weight of fabric for the project that I'm doing. But if I were to buy, for example, if I'm making a long sleeve dress for me, it doesn't even have to be a maxi dress, but for my size, I would easily need 2.5 meters. If I'm making something that has more features, ruffles, a very gathered skirt, or a maxi dress, something like that, then I would need 3 meters or maybe even more. So it's a very inexpensive way of getting lots of fabric. Here in Germany, the standard size for duvet covers for an adult's bed is 135 wide by 200 centimeters. So that is a lot of fabric, considering that you have two, that's times two, one side and the other side. I have here duvet covers and a pillowcase. Usually they are sold together with a pillowcase, and the standard size is 80 by 80. So, and that also double because two sides. And I think one very important aspect is also these fabrics have already been produced. So resources were used to create these fabrics or these home textiles. For example, if I buy them at the charity shop, at the thrift shop, many of them were donated or were thrown away. People don't want them anymore, don't use them anymore. So I think it's a good way of keeping them alive, so to say, for a longer time. I use them for my muslins, but also, for example, when I have scraps, when I'm done with the project, the scraps also don't go in the bin right away. I use them for other projects. My muslins are often like a patchwork of different fabrics and different prints because it's what I had, and I like to use resources as long as I can, for as often as I can. Sometimes if I find a really pretty fabric, a really pretty design, if it's a good quality fabric, many times I found, for example, linen at the thrift shop, and for prices that you won't absolutely not find if you go to buy new linen bed sheets. So that is usually very expensive, of course, good quality. So it's okay that it has its price, but if you buy it used, if you buy it at the thrift shop, you still get a product that is has high quality. In the case of linen, I think it's especially good because it has been washed several times. is not as stiff, is much smoother. So that's actually an advantage, I think. And so those are the two main reasons why I like to sew with fabric from the thrift shop, and in particular with home textiles, bed linen, bed sheets, duvet covers, bed covers. There's a lot of different names for it, but you get what I mean. So let's talk about, I've mentioned some plus points, some advantages. There are also negative points, or they don't have to be negative, but something to keep in mind. This is a duvet cover set that I bought a few months ago at my thrift shop. And I'm going to show you what's the downside, what can be the downside when you're buying used sheets or duvet covers. For example, this is a pillowcase. It's really big. It's used, so you can see that in this area the fabric is thinner, and it has that used look. So if I'm going to make something out of this fabric, I would pay attention not to use this section right here, because one thing is the color is it's like washed out, and the other one is that the fabric is not as sturdy in this section, because this is where people lay their heads. So it's common that this is the part when you're looking at pillowcases that is more used. So keep that in mind when you're cutting your fabric out, to avoid this area. If it's just for a muslin, it's not a problem. But I've had that happen to me. I sewed something out of bed sheets, and it was, I don't know, my shoulder seam or something like that, and it was an area that has, or maybe underarm. It was an area that has to stand some movement. And because the fabric wasn't as strong anymore in that area, it ripped, and in a way that I couldn't fix it anymore. So keep that in mind when you're cutting your bed sheets, or when you're cutting your duvet covers or pillowcases. I'm trying to show you. This is the duvet cover. It's a lot of fabric, as you can see, and doubled. I'm going to fold it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. This is what you get. And the pillowcase. So this is really a lot to work with, and I am going to work with it very soon, because I'm going to make a Fable dress. I will be making my Fable dress out of the duvet cover, but I won't be using the pillowcase because it's not in good shape anymore, but the duvet covers are. So that's what I'm going to use. And according to I'm looking at the fabric requirement on the tutorial for the pattern, and if you're using fabric with 150 centimeters width, and I have something similar, for my size I would need for the dress with the short sleeve about 2.5 meters. I'm not sure. I have to decide if I'm going to make the short sleeve. My previous Fable dress has a short sleeve. I want to try something new. I always like making the same pattern, but with the different options that they offer. So I think I'm going to do it with the non-opening front, so no button placket, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to make either the cap sleeve or the 3/4 sleeve. That is the plan. Let's see when I can make some time for sewing. I hope soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, my tips on sewing with home textiles, or bed linen, duvet covers, whatever you want to call it, with tablecloths. Be on the lookout when you're at the thrift shop next time or at the flea market. You can make a bargain and get really nice fabrics. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.